tonight Hendon Hooker is like, to me, I just believe that it's more to it than what meets the eye. You know what I'm saying? Like we haven't. I think part of it, Walt, is we haven't seen Hendon Hooker. You know what I'm saying? Because and then the people, the casual fan that didn't see, his early Virginia Tech career and then the Tennessee career, how it unfolded. You know what I'm saying? People just automatically would say, since he hasn't played and we have a quarterback right now that Hendon Hooker isn't any good, and plus the age factor. People bring up Chris Winkie and people that was
Brandon Wheaton.
yeah, Brandon Wheaton. Things that players that has nothing to do with this situation. You know what I'm saying? I think that the best benefit you can give a young quarterback is to put him in a situation where he don't have a lot of pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just, it might sound like soft or whatever like that. I mean, like Caleb Williams and then Caleb Williams is better than Hendon Hooker. I'm not saying that, but he's got the talent to be like, okay, he was the number one pick, so now he's starting from day one, got a lot of pressure. Hendon Hooker is in a good spot, man. You know what I'm saying? I believe he is. You know what I mean? I don't think remember Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love. I mean,
well, we can go even more extreme than that. Look at Brady. Brady walked into a situation where Bledsoe signed for that huge deal, and Bledsoe deserved the deal. I'm not saying he didn't. Bledsoe at one point in time, for those who may not know, some of our younger listeners, Drew Bledsoe was a guy. Like, he was a dude out there. Couldn't move worth a damn, but Bledsoe was a big time dude with an arm that could. Yeah, he attacked every single blade of grass on the field and was a threat.
Mm-hmm.
He signed that big time deal. What happened? Mo Lewis hit him that one Sunday, and then the rest is history. So not to say that that's going to happen to us and Hendon Hooker's going to turn into be Tom Brady, our version of Brady, for the next 20 years or such. But no, I mean, I agree with you. I think to me, it just doesn't make any sense for fans or members of the media here, the local media, to look at this situation and say, okay, now that Goff signed his big time deal, let's trade our backup. In what world does any NFL team do that? Like, nobody's going to have a quality backup and then trade them. The only time teams trade quality backups is when their season is shot. Now, if you're a 3-win team, a 4 or 5-win team, things are going south, you may consider trading a guy like Jacoby Brissett. And I throw his name out there because he's one of those rock-solid career backups, one of those guys that's going to always keep a job. The Gardner Minshew's, the Ryan Fitzpatrick's for a lot of times, those type of guys that keep jobs. And we may have that at Hendon Hooker. And I talked to someone the other day about that. What if it's possible? If you look at Hendon Hooker's age and you look at the track record of quarterbacks his age coming into the NFL at that age, the track record isn't great as far as guys turning out to really be worth something down the line. What if it's possible that Hendon Hooker, the plan for him all along was for him to be the backup? Maybe it was never in the plans for him to be the starter over Jared Goff, unless Goff just completely fell off the edge. I mean, just think about it. At the age he's at, he's played in 3 different systems between Virginia Tech and Tennessee. He's in a brand new system here in Detroit. He's been in it for 2 years. He was hurt last year. Exactly 1 year ago at this point in time, Hendon Hooker was rehabbing. And exactly a year later now at this time, the dude is healthy, ready to play. So what if he's supposed to ultimately be the backup? And like I said, we talked about this in the pre-show. For people to dislike Nate Sudfeld as much as they do around here, how can you be that pro trading Hendon Hooker and knowing that if anything happens to Jared Goff, you got to turn everything over to him?
Yeah. Hey, did we leave Walt Dollar out?
Did you? You know what?
I
was gonna play it at the end, though. I was gonna play it at the end.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, you know what, though? For everybody may have not seen it, though. So let's go ahead with it.
There we
Peace to
go.
Walt Dollar.
Walt Dollar, yeah. Now
Good
I can
looking, good
talk, man.
looking.
Now
Now we amped up to talk
yeah,
about
now we can
Hooker
talk,
and
man.
Goff.
Yeah, you know what, man? Let me ask this. We ask all the listeners as they coming in tonight. What's wrong with just Hendon Hooker being the backup right now? I just don't understand like what the problem is. Like, you know what I'm saying? It, I first of all, we have nothing to really go off of right now, right? We can't say whether he's good or bad, right? I mean, to be honest, I mean, I know what I saw. I know what I saw at Tennessee. I know, yeah, him and Jalen Hyatt hooked up quite often. Okay, you know what I'm saying? He got Jalen Hyatt drafted in the first round, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? It was a good partnership. You know what I'm saying? A good playmaking duo. You know, at Tennessee. You know, what was the other? Tillman was the other guy. I think that got drafted too.
Yeah, Cedric Tillman.
Yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
Cleveland, the Browns. But what I'm getting at is, man, I just think that the you're doing a young quarterback a good service. You know what I'm saying? When you can put him out there in practice and allow him to, you know, just get his get his footing, get the playbook down. Walt has been coming in his second year now. You know what I'm saying? He's behind Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? A guy who we all know that Jared Goff goes by the playbook, man. You know what I'm saying? We all seen Jared Goff tendencies, and he could learn some good tendencies from Jared Goff. You know what I'm saying? Hendon Hooker specialized in the 10 to 15-yard pass. He can also throw the deep ball, but I think that that's something that he can learn from Jared Goff, especially having St. Brown and the receivers that we have. I think that, you know, it's a good start for him. You know, you're not like Justin Fields where you throw him out there and, you know, no offensive line, no weapons.
Give
The
him a
coach,
bunch of design runs, a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah,
draws.
yeah,
Let him
and
get
it's
killed.
yeah, and then people will be saying, "Well, we put him out there too soon. He's not ready." You know what I'm saying? Now, take your time. I mean, it has nothing to do with Jared Goff at this point. Hendon Hooker and Jared Goff is two different entities right now. You know what I'm saying? You want to develop Hendon Hooker. This whole preseason should be all about Hendon Hooker given every opportunity to be the backup quarterback, you know, and I think that's probably what's going to happen, you know, between him and Nate Sudfeld. I know another quarterback probably will. It probably be a third quarterback that may not be on the roster, but maybe for
Practice
preseason,
squad.
yeah, might bring.
Because
Remember
last year it was Adrian. Yeah,
Adrian
Adrian.
Martinez. Yep, yep. So, for me, to me, this season, this preseason, I want to see number 5. I think he changed his number, so I want to see number 2 out there. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him out there. While I want to see what we have. As far as trading him, it's ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? Why would you trade? You know, I've heard local radio say it was a wasted pick, which I disagree. You know what I'm saying? Because what's wrong with the process? I just don't understand like why, you know, he doesn't have. Oh man, you draft Hendon Hooker and now he has to play right now, and it's just like if I always say this, if a guy can play, if a guy's got talent, he'll see the field. You know what I'm saying? He'll Debo his way on the field, and it won't be any question that he's the guy that should be out there. You know what I'm saying? What could it be? I remember Matt Flynn and Russell Wilson type situation. Remember Matt Flynn got the big contract, you know, even though he was coming from another team. He's not Jared Goff, who was already here. But you know, Matt Flynn coming from the Packers, you know, at the expense of the Lions, having a big game, got a giant contract. Russell Wilson, I think, drafted in the 3rd round, wound up being a starter. Pete Carroll had the balls to say Russell Wilson is our
Never
starter.
started a game for Seattle.
Never played a game. Exactly. You know, even though it's a little bit of different situation, but
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, you know, you draft a guy 3rd round, he could play. I mean, it's not saying that Hendon Hooker can't have a career with the Lions. Maybe it might be in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm cool with
true.
that. You know what I'm saying? Like look at Aaron Rodgers. I'm just using him as example. Guys that we've seen ride the bench and then wound up having, a good career. Jordan Love. I think didn't Jordan Love sit for a season, under
Yeah, three
Rodgers.
or four under Rodgers. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it can happen, man. I mean the Lions are actually doing things right, and I think there's nothing wrong with Hendon Hooker not playing right away, in my opinion. Now I know what I saw. I know what I saw at Tennessee. Like I said before the intro, he's got it's something there. I remember I was bummed out from the Senior Bowl. Remember, you bust my ball. You was like, dude, he not even play. I didn't even know Hendon Hooker wasn't going to play in the
yeah.
game, and I that was the one guy I wanted to see when he was in the Senior Bowl and wound up didn't play, but. I just know he's got some ability. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Lions are trying to tap in to how the timing, to how we know he can throw the ball, but I think he just has to get the nuances of the game. What better guy to learn from than Ben Johnson? You know what I'm saying? Puts a lot of responsibility on the quarterback. I think Hendon Hooker's in the right situation, Walt. From early returns, I did hear a 7-on-7 drill. That it was like a 2-minute drill, and he didn't score a touchdown. I think I heard that he got the team in field goal range, if I'm not mistaken, and wound up putting the team in a position to kick a field goal. So he's getting the 2-minute drills down, his timing with the receivers, and that's all you can ask for right now. But like trading the answer to your question, which was a great question. No, I'm not trading Hendon Hooker. You crazy? I'm not doing that right now. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say in a year. Let's just say Lions win a Super. I'm just putting it out there. Let's just say they win the Super Bowl. Okay. Then you got, Jared Goff. I think what did he sign? 3-year contract? Three-year contract, something like that. Jared Goff did was a 3-year extension, I think it was. So let's just say, Jared Goff has a Pro Bowl season, right? Maybe next year, if Hendon Hooker, let's just say if he really makes a name for himself in preseason this year, maybe starts a couple. Let's just say that he starts a couple games during the season, plays well. Maybe next season you revisit this question. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe if you're the Lions, you get a couple picks. If I'm just saying,
Still wide though.
yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to
Is
just make sense of it. You know what I
nah.
mean?
I can't, man. I think you and I both on the same page with this.
Mhm. Right.
I don't understand people's impatience and their lack of understanding for the process when it comes to the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Like if Hendon Hooker was a third round defensive tackle or a third round cornerback or a third round safety or a third round guard, nobody would be saying, "Oh, we just drafted Manu, trade him. Or we just drafted St. Brown, trade him. Or we just drafted Cam Sutton, trade him."
Yeah.
Just throw Sutton's name out there.
Yeah.
There's a very in-depth process when it comes to building a team from the ground up. You don't want just a starting quarterback. People
Yeah.
complained for years when Stafford was here. We don't
Hmm.
have anybody behind him. Stafford was here for 9 years. Stafford was here for 12 years. They never once took the backup quarterback position seriously,
That's true.
which they didn't. Now you have a situation where they said, you know what? It could be possible that they drafted him to be the backup to Golf, period, for the next few years or longer, depending on how things worked out. But people don't seem to really want to understand that.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
what bothers me about this, because when you have a quality backup, or at least you have the opportunity to draft a backup, a guy who you think you can groom to be your quality backup, why in the hell would you trade him? Who trades their backup quarterback ever?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense. And they came out and we talked about this a little bit briefly before the show. To me, it seems like on both sides, the argument is riddled in some sort of bias. And we bring the race thing up because a lot of times situations, the race does play a part in it. And it seems like, at least what you hear on the radio here from a lot of people, Some, I'm saying some, so don't get all upset and get bent all out of shape in the comment section. There are some white people who view the whole Hendon Hooker situation as a wasted pick. It was a goof up. He's never been any threat to Goff. Why are you people behind him so much? He's never going to start. See, Goff got his money. Let's just trade Hooker and get rid of Hooker because he has no purpose here. Who says that about their backup quarterback ever? It just kills me how people change their tune so quick. And then you do have some black people who want Hendon Hooker traded because now they're upset because, well, he's not going to start here, so why waste him here? It's not about wasting. These dudes, at the end of the day, I think Hendon Hooker knows the writings on the wall. If he's being honest with himself and his agent is being honest with him, at the age that he's at, and you look at the history, the track record of these types of quarterbacks at that age, the chances of them moving on and becoming starters and being long-term game changers and difference makers, it doesn't work out like that. And this is a different organization. This is an organization that has proven to the players that you may not even play. Look at Will Harris. Will Harris kept a job here for a minute, and then the other Harris too, Charles Harris.
Uh-huh.
They kept jobs here for a couple years. Will Harris longer than that. Not so much based upon what they brought on the field, but what they brought to the locker room. If you're Hendon Hooker and you're quote unquote a good soldier, and you're getting Goff ready throughout the week, you know the playbook inside out. You give good work in practice for spot duty and snaps. You're not rocking the boat. You say all the right things in the media. That's a surefire way to keep a job for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Just being that. Not to say that he doesn't want to play, because all young dogs want to play.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But you
Yeah.
also want to make sure you secure the money. You also don't want to ruin your reputation around the league. Because when it comes to being a quarterback, it's only 32 jobs, 32 starting jobs.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you got one of the next 32, which is the backup.
Right, right. And I remember vividly uh, Washington, well, the Commanders at the time they were the Redskins, when they drafted Robert Griffin III and Kirk Cousins in the same draft. What happened? Robert Griffin III got hurt. Kirk Cousins, same year, got drafted, wound up being the guy, you know what I'm saying? But that particular year, they took two quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? And people was like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Why would you make sense of you taking two quarterbacks in one draft? But
You know what happened though. That was a little more deep rooted why Jay Gruden did that.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But the reality is this: it was turned out to be the right move at the time. I mean, Washington, you know, they climbing back into respectability, but right now, I mean, looking back at it, if they didn't draft Kirk Cousins, they would have been in a world of hurt. You know what I'm saying at the time, and I think you're right. I think you put it in perspective when you said, you know, the 32 teams, 32 jobs. I mean, everybody ain't a starter in their first year. You know, I mean, I don't know how many times I gotta say that. You know what I'm saying? Like the exception to the rule is C.J. Stroud.
Everybody don't get the opportunity to even be starters.
Right. Well,
That's
look
the
at
whole thing.
what was the year Philly with Nick Foles, right? Now Nick Foles didn't start the season, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Right? So
That was Carson Wentz's job.
yeah, Carson Wentz. That's right. Yeah, and Nick Foles wound up winning the Super Bowl. So you see how that position matters, man. It really does, because stuff can change in a year. How many times I always say people become available in a year. The people that you didn't think was on another team that you didn't think they became available. Situations during the season become like, let's just say if Hendon Hooker is this flash in the pan, Kurt Warner in the preseason where he throws for 600 yards in 3 games. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Let's just say if he does it and somebody wants to throw you a first round pick next year or something, next year, not this year. This year, like Bobby Drake said, I think I agree with him. You know, no, I'm sorry. It was Mike Parker. Shout out to Mike and Bobby Drake. you have to see something first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And Bobby Drake's right where you know somebody can play, but you pit like the perfect example like the draft, like the NBA. We see it all the time, different sport, but we see players get drafted. Let's just say if we never Pistons never would have traded Spencer Dinwiddie, or and then you see how good he is with somebody else, and you say, man, why can we just been patient with this guy? You know what I'm saying? Why can we just hold on?
they never
And
would have
then we,
worked here though.
you know what I'm saying?
Expectations was different. I
Yeah, but
think guys like them, we needed them to be superstars.
yeah, and it's
That's what
like
we
it's hard.
needed.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It really is. But in NFL, when you have a quarterback like Jared Goff right now, and we're trying to win the Super Bowl here. Make no mistake about it. Whether you, whatever side of the fence you on with Goff, whether you think they're gonna win with him or not, you know what I'm saying. The reality is, I think anybody that knows football or anybody that you know watches this game, watches this team very closely. I think you probably can ask all of our affiliates that we in the circle with Walt are across the league, and people everybody would probably tell you the Lions are a better team with Jared Goff at quarterback.
Of
Period.
course.
At least right. At least we sit here on June 12th and we say that. Like I said, maybe in 2 years it might be a different story. Let's just say they want to move on. Let's say Golf don't get it done. Okay, I'm giving you another scenario. Well, let's just say he don't get it done in 2 years, right? And we right back to square one. We don't win in the playoffs. He don't win the division again. Then you might want to revisit. Say, hey, we need to sign Hendon Hooker long term. You know what I'm saying? Or he Golf getting ready to move on. Hendon Hooker's our quarterback in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that could be a situation. It may be that kind of situation for him. You know what I'm saying? Or let's just say the last year, his rookie deal, he's playing for a contract, and the Lions give him the keys to the car. You know what I'm saying? And then I think that's the best case scenario right now. Think about it. Down the road, we know everybody's motivated contract year. You know what I'm saying? Whether he plays for the Lions or not, if he gets a start job, he gonna want to ball out. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's like, hey, if I'm not gonna be a starter here, I know I can be a starter somewhere else. You know, whatever bottom feeder team that needs a quarterback at that time might trade for him, or who knows, maybe a Pittsburgh or Cleveland or Chicago or whoever. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
whoever,
It's kind of
you know.
fickle though. I
Hmm.
think with these teams and these quarterbacks, because
Yeah,
everybody seems to be first round pick bias too.
yeah,
Like if you wasn't a first round pick, you just don't get that cachet, you don't get that
right,
same respect. So,
right.
like I said, it's only 32 starting jobs. Outside of those 32, let's say Golf plays really well again. And the thing is, for them to get anything above, because he was a third round pick anyway, that was hurt. People gonna look at the fact that, well, teams are gonna look at the fact that, for one, he was a third round pick. For two, he came in hurt. Three, he has no playing experience whatsoever. So therefore, even if you decided that you wanted to start shopping him right now, you're not getting anything above probably a fourth. You'd be lucky to get a fourth or a fifth of him right now because there's nothing proven behind him. So before you throw him away as your backup, your young backup with potential, who you have growing in this offense, why throw him away for nothing? Because ultimately, that's kind of what you're doing. You're throwing him away for nothing. And I'm just saying, good teams don't make those types of decisions at all. They don't make those types of decisions. You got to hold on to that guy. You need depth everywhere. Offensive line depth,
Yeah,
defensive line
yeah,
depth, cornerbacks. You need it everywhere. And
yeah,
to just go and move on from a guy like that just makes zero sense at all. Like I said, if you're not going to get the return from him, you even think. Like when they first started talking this noise about potentially trading him, you had people really thinking that we could get a second for him. You didn't even draft him in the second.
yeah.
So what makes you think someone, and just take a look around the league. Who wants him? And listen, I like Hendon Hooker, but if we just keeping it 100 and we take a look around the rest of the NFL, where in the hell is Hendon Hooker gonna go and start right now? I heard someone mention the Giants. Do you really think they're gonna bring in Hendon Hooker at the point in time that They have him right now. Well, they have Daniel Jones and everything else going on right now,
Yeah.
and start him over Daniel Jones. He ain't even starting in New Orleans. You got Derek Carr there. You got Jameis Winston. You got Spencer Rattler, who, interestingly enough, we've heard Rattler's been playing pretty well
Hmm.
since he's been there. So when people just say, "Oh, just trade somebody," well, you got to find a team that wants the guy that you're trying to trade. It's not enough when fans just say to just trade somebody like GMs can just magically snap their fingers and get a trade partner. You have to figure out where in the hell is he gonna go. Let's be honest about it. There's nowhere he can go right now and start and just get handed the keys.
Yeah. Yeah, only team I was thinking about that too. Let's just say if he does have a good preseason, because I think that's what it's going to boil down to. I think if let's just say if he did get traded, it wouldn't be till right before the season. You know what I'm saying? Because he'd have to have something on tape. And I was thinking a local team. Let's just say Will Levis gets her. I'm thinking Tennessee because they know.
Titans.
You know what I'm saying? They he's local. He played at Tennessee, so scouts seen him. Everybody's familiar with Hendon Hooker in that state. So that's what like I was kind of going that route. You know what I'm saying? If it was one team that probably would trade him and give up a second or third round pick for him. But like I said again, he'd have to ball out in preseason, dude.
Yeah.
And I want to see that. I want to see 30 attempts. Him and
In a
Smith.
preseason game.
Yeah, remember it was a year Kurt Warner. Remember Kurt Warner came on the scene. I
Oh, and
know.
after Trenton got hurt,
Yeah, Kurt
Trent
Warner
Green.
balled
Yeah.
in the preseason, dude. I mean, he
Yeah.
like threw 30 passes. I mean, it was the normal for him. So yeah, I just first of all, you want to see what you have. That's number one. You know what I'm saying? So if he goes out there and like I said, lights it up, then you may have some teams that's calling you. You're right. You know what I mean? People get desperate. People get crazy. NFL crazy for quarterbacks, man. Everybody looking for that next superstar or diamond in the rough or,
Or
and
just looking to upgrade their QB room. I
yeah,
mean,
of
look what
course.
Pittsburgh did. They
Mm,
they got they got rid of your boy
mhm.
Kenny Pickett and
Yeah.
said and doubled down. Said we
Yeah.
gonna get Russell and
And
Justin.
and Justin Fields. Right.
We ain't
Right.
making this mistake twice.
Right. So they figure like we
Yeah,
got to cover. You know what I'm saying? They pulled a Brad
yeah.
Holmes at their quarterback. Brad Holmes did it with his secondary. They did it with their quarterback room. Like, I damn it, I'm somebody gonna be good enough to play.
Like
You know what I
Brad
mean? That's
Holmes, Brad Holmes set up and watched that Vildor play over and over and
yeah. He
over
like
again.
damn it, I got to do so. Somebody, I don't care. Somebody gonna get that spot. You know what I'm
Say
saying? So
draft cornerback who doesn't let ball bounce off face mask.
off face mask, right? Right. And and I think the most, and it's what's the saying? What we always hear, like the most popular guy on the team is the backup quarterback. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's the most popular guy on the team because people say, "Oh man, if he was there." I remember people was uh, some people hate like I. Some people hated Stafford so much when he was here. Some people did really, and they was saying. I remember some people saying Sean Hill should be the quarterback. I remember vividly people saying that. It's just like, no, it's like
Give
Sean
Brad
Hill.
Kaya a chance.
Yeah, he's the perfect backup quarterback. That's what he
Jake
is.
Rudock.
Now it remains to be seen if Hooker's a back. That's the only question I do have that the Lions got to figure out. Like, if he is a superstar, you know what I'm saying, or I won't even say stupid. It's good you said that. If he top 32 quarterback in the league, then teams gonna come calling. But even in that scenario, if I'm the Lions, I'm not doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how valuable that is to have a guy.
You have to completely blow me away.
Yeah, just
If somebody came with a number two, ain't nobody coming with a first though. But if
no,
somebody came with a number two, because like I said, there he's got the age bias going against him too.
yeah,
If Hendon was 22, people would view him a lot differently around the league.
yeah. That's another thing. I think that's bull, man. I don't know. I think that's even more. That's even more in his favor though. Like more mature. More. He got all the. I don't know. I would say he got all the upstartness out of his system. I mean, he ready to. It just seemed like he would be a guy that's mature enough and knows situations. That's the only thing. And I'm glad to hear him in situational football. And that's one thing I like about Dan Campbell. I think all the coaches coach situational football during practice, but to hear him to be able to lead the team, what I'm saying, in the last plays, the last drive of a practice, I mean, that's where it starts. You know what I'm saying? That's where, you know, finding the right guy, moving the chains, getting us in field goal range, stuff like that. So and it goes for me, it just goes down to like you said before, Walt, during this show, like, we're in an era of a new Lions regime, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think they're doing their quarterback room like we've seen other teams do it. You know what I'm saying? And for damn sure, if it is a situation where they have to trade Hendon Hooker, it's gonna be because he has performed. I think that's the great equalizer of this whole question. Can he play? You know what I'm saying? And if he checks that box, other teams for damn sure going to be calling. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess we can revisit this whole thing then. But like you said, as of right now, I got a young quarterback in my system. Well, not too young, not a 19 or 20-year-old, but I got a quarterback in my system that has some upside. I'm keeping him right now. So
All right, Mike, what's up? Says Fields went for a fifth. Hendon, I don't care what he does, won't be worth more than the six. I can actually agree with that. I can't,
mhm.
like I said, the main thing is it's the age. And it may not matter to us, but I'm gonna take, for example, Zach Wilson with the Jets. Zach Wilson came out top 5 pick, big time arm talent. The evaluators viewed him as potentially being the next Aaron Rodgers. Now, him playing well with the Jets was very, very sporadic. He had his moments. He had a lot of bad moments, but he still had flashes of that big time potential. And then Zach Wilson is still viewed as a baby. If Zach Wilson went out this preseason with the Jets, because I think he is still with the Jets, right? Because he done had a very, very quiet offseason. We ain't heard one peep out of Zach Wilson.
Mhm. Yeah, he ain't
He's
about
the
to say
yeah,
nothing.
he's the type of guy that if he goes out and has a really good preseason for the Jets,
Hmm.
teams are more willing to take a chance on somebody like him because they
Yeah,
see a young kid,
yeah,
they see big time arm talent, and then
coachable.
yeah, and well, I don't know, yeah, we heard he's coachable, but yeah, I think these GMs they get caught up in talent and ceilings and age more. Hooker can show that he has everything intangible wise to be a capable backup, and he still may not be worth more than the six. So I do agree with Mike that he also said Fields went for a fifth. Hendon, I don't care what he does, won't be worth more than a sixth. Hooker has the potential to be a guy who you could put in a game and still have a chance to win. I agree with that. And I don't think that's an insult. People take it as an insult when when you say that everybody's not a starter in the NFL.
Right.
I get the love affair with the backup quarterback, especially if you're a person around here that doesn't really like Jared Goff, never cared for Jared Goff. I can understand how those people in that crowd may view it that way, but when people say it was a wasted pick,
Hmm.
look at Bill Belichick, one of the greatest top 2 coaches, top 3 coaches, however you rank them in NFL history. Are you
Hmm.
telling him drafting quarterbacks where he drafted them was a waste? This man had Tom Brady and continued to draft a quarterback every other year. And what happened? They had games in New England where Brady was hurt. And when you take care of the backup quarterback position, you can go in there and you can win a game with Matt Castle. You can go in there and you can win a game with Jarrett Stidham, or you can go in there and you can win a game with
Jacoby Brissett,
Jacoby Brissett. And who's the other dude? Brian
Garoppolo.
Hoyer.
Yeah, Hoyer. Yep.
Yes, you can go out
Hmm.
there when you draft your guys, you grow them and you groom them within your system. Now you have a solid team already built in place. You don't have to worry about, oh, we hurt. Jared Goff just went down. Let's go out there and get Joe Flacco off the street and just throw some shit at the wall and hope it sticks. Let's hope he can get us through a drought. You don't have to go out there and sign. What's my man name? The Cleveland Browns had him last year. Somebody else just signed him. The guy who went out there and threw all the interceptions. He was the quarterback, short black dude. He was the quarterback before they went out and got Flacco. after Watson got hurt. But
Not Tyrod Taylor.
no, it was PJ Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker.
PJ Walker.
Total Lions up
So
with
so
Carolina.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like as a Lion fan, do you want that? Do
Mhm.
you want this current team as currently built?
Yeah.
Would you rather, and I understand that if Golf gets hurt, perspective right now is we up the creek without a paddle. But at the end of the day, you never know how things gonna turn out in this league.
Mhm.
Nobody knew, and I'm glad you brought up that perfect example. Carson Wentz was on his way to win the league MVP that year when he got hurt,
Mhm.
and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Nick Foles stepped in, led them boys to the Super Bowl, won it, and the fans in Philly ain't like
Yeah.
Carson Wentz since.
Yeah. He might as well be named Chris Wentz. Yeah. But
Yeah, so you don't know
yeah,
how
you're
you
right.
gonna win out here. You never know
You-
what's gonna happen.
You're right. And I think that the Lions gotta figure out, do they have a Nick Foles, Geno Smith, or hopefully they don't have a Christian Ponder. You know what I'm saying? Remember Christian Ponder got drafted by the Vikings,
EJ
and
Manuel.
yeah, EJ man, guys like that just that they couldn't play, man. You know what I'm saying? First of all, we have to make sure we make good on our pick, which I think he can. I mean, that's for me, it's not even I'm thinking like this. I'm just thinking down the road. I'm thinking couple years, we got to do as an organization, as a team. Jared Goff take care of business, and then within the next couple years, get that Super Bowl, get that taken care of. After that, then you worry about signing Hendon Hooker long term. You know what I'm saying? I think that's, for me, that's the
Yeah.
ideal situation. Then at that time, you would have been probably bought in another quarterback, drafted another quarterback anyway in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And then you recycle the whole process again. You know what I mean? And Hendon Hooker's your guy, and whoever you draft out of X college or whoever you bring in is a backup.
I
You know
just
what I'm
don't get
saying?
how
And that's how
people don't
you
understand the process.
yeah, yeah. That's how you replenish your
We
team, man.
Tim
You don't.
Boyle,
Yeah, right, right.
David Blau,
How did that work out? Right,
Nate Sudfeld, but
Nate
you could
Sudfeld.
but you don't want a capable backup.
Mhm.
I don't get it, man. I
Yeah,
really don't.
yeah. So for me, Walt, I mean, if we had to just put a bow on this show about Hendon Hooker tonight, for me, I want to see continuity. I want to see that the intangibles I seen, at Tennessee, full display, that type of thing. And I just they do have to give them a chance. That's the only thing, with this coaching staff. We know that, they like to say everybody's got to earn a strike. Well, if that's the case, you better put them out there. You know what I mean? Because I don't
True.
want to see him like holding the clipboard, not even playing in preseason, and you saying, that he's got to learn the playbook or something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? So that, for me, Walt, that's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Hendon Hooker out there. I've been clamoring for it since last year. Remember, I was saying that Golf is not playing in the preseason. Hendon Hooker should be out there. You know what I'm saying? It should be his audition, his coming out party. Everybody now say, man, okay, the Lions, they got themselves a quarterback waiting in the wing. You want people to say he's the next quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You wanted people to say when Jared Goff, whenever he leaves or whatever, Hendon Hooker is the guy next in line. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, even when Brady got to the end of his career, you know, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was he is a back. He's a career backup. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Garoppolo's not a starting quarterback. They tried to make him into one, but
Ryan Mallett.
yeah, yeah,
They
right.
drafted a lot of quarterbacks over there
Yeah,
though.
they did. I forgot about Ryan Mallett. Rest in peace,
They
Ryan Mallett.
drafted your
Yeah,
boy too, the head coach of Minnesota, Kevin O'Connell. I think he came from what's it, San Diego State, I think, Kevin O'Connell.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. He's quarterback too. Wow. Yep. So you're right, man. They drafted all those guys, and like you said, and Jared Stidham that wound up getting
Yeah.
another job, for a little while too with the Raiders. I think matter of fact, he started last year, if I'm not mistaken, at the beginning
He
of the
started
season.
some games for them
Yeah.
boys.
So, well, I mean, okay. We go do our Jameson Williams show coming up. I think that's our next show. I think we've been talk about it's in production to do that next. But um, like I said, what we gonna ask this question about all the players? Like, what's your before we get out of here? Like, what's your expectation like for Hendon Hooker? I mean, do you see what I'm saying is put your futuristic glasses on and tell me like what just what your gut tell you. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen with Hendon Hooker?
My gut tells me that for us, he's a career backup. Unless Jared Goff gets brutally hurt into a situation. Well, I'm talking about a situation where he's not coming back for you talking about a shoulder injury,
Hmm.
AC, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Something that's just gonna eventually push him away from the team. Or like I said, a situation where he just plays completely awful. I don't see him falling off the face of the earth when it comes to his on-field play.
Yeah.
That's it. I think
Yeah.
he was drafted to be the backup. I think this was an organization that took over. Stafford was gone. Goff came in, and then you look at the backup quarterback situation. You went through David Blau, you went through Nate Sudfeld, you went through Tim Boyle. They felt, you know what, we got to upgrade every room on this team. It ain't just okay. We got Jared Goff. We don't need to even draft another quarterback. No, we
Hmm.
we need to upgrade the receivers, the running backs, the offensive line, the D line, the secondary. We need to upgrade everything. So I think
Linebackers.
they
Yeah.
viewed it as, you know what, enough of playing musical chairs with these three stiffs that we got on the backups.
Hmm.
We're gonna get us a legitimate guy that could possibly play in this league. We
Hmm.
saw what Hendon Hooker did at Tennessee, so we know he has the talent. We want to upgrade our quarterback room behind Jared Goff. I don't think he plays at all, like I said, unless Jared Goff gets hurt, because I don't really envision him playing bad moving from here on out. You're
Hmm.
talking about year 4 within his system, the same system with the same offensive coordinator. So I just don't see him playing bad. But if I can throw my futuristic glasses on. I see Hendon Hooker caught up in the numbers game in the NFL. You look at pretty much every team around the league has their starting quarterback for the most part, or at least they think so heading into this season. We don't know
Hmm.
how Minnesota may feel about JJ McCarthy at the end of this season. We don't know how Bears fans or that organization may feel about Caleb Williams, or we don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to be successful with Washington, or Bo Nix, another older quarterback with the Denver Broncos. We do know you got guys like Shador Sanders coming out next year. You got
Hmm.
Carson Beck coming out next year. We already know there's always 2 or 3 more guys who rise to the top of the class as well. It's hard for, especially quarterbacks, man. It's hard when you fail at your first job interview. It don't even have to be your fault. And I bring up Zach Wilson again for the same point.
Yeah.
Do I think everything that happened in New York with Zach Wilson was his fault? No, I don't think it was. But the perception around the league is when you fail with the organization, it was you. It's hard to come back from that. Look what's going on with Justin Fields with Pittsburgh. Taking snaps at running back. Like look what happens when you don't fail. And anybody can look at that Bears situation and say, you know what? Y'all didn't do half of what y'all doing for Caleb, y'all didn't do half of that for Justin Fields. So maybe that's the reason Justin Fields failed, because as the Bears organization, y'all failed him yourself. So I'm just saying, is Hooker don't even have to necessarily fail here. He could just be holding a clipboard for the next 2 years because Jared Goff balling his ass off.
Hmm. Yeah.
Where else is he gonna go? That's
Yeah.
why I say he might as well. In some situations, you guys are career backups. You may not want to be. Look at Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore came out of Boise State. He thought he had a chance to play in the NFL,
Yeah.
but
Damn
people
good
around here
offensive
knew.
coordinator. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a
Hmm.
backup here. He was a backup in Dallas.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett was a career backup that could step in for Troy Aikman every now and then and could help Dallas win games. That's
Yeah.
what you want on your back out of your backup. I want to see him look good in this preseason. I want to see command of the offense. I don't
That's
have
what
to
I'm
see
saying.
him necessarily throw the ball all over the field. I want to feel comfortable that the guy we spent a third round pick on a year ago can be our backup quarterback, because
Right.
backup quarterback is very important in the
Important,
NFL.
man. What if you might need him for spot duty? What if what if you need him for 3 weeks to keep the ship afloat? You know what I'm saying? If you got an 8-1 record and you trying to keep your lead in the division, you know what I'm saying, and he could do that for 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I'm
And he
saying?
cheap.
It's important, right? That's another thing. The
And
rookie
he cheap.
contract, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I just think everybody need to calm down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, calm down. It's a process, man. It really is. And we're in the ATM society. Nobody wants to hear that word process or wait or
You
be
drafted a
patient.
quarterback. Why he
Yeah.
ain't playing?
Why you not playing?
Only one can play at a time.
Yeah. And or the narrative is he can't play. You know what I'm saying? And that's what frustrates me because we hear locally and people say that he can't play. And it's just like, no, that's not that's you lying to the people by saying that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's somewhere. We want to see if he could do it. Damn, Jalen Brown done. Damn, I had to just that caught my eye right there. Yeah, Dallas is done like dinner, man. I'm bad. I'm hate to see that. I'm glad. I'm happy for Jason Tatum though, and Jalen Brown. I'm happy for them two guys because they did it right. Where you stay with your team that drafted you. I'm old school like that, and I'm glad. I'm just want to put on record. I'm glad to see the Celtics if those two guys and Drew Holiday. That they deserve it. But anyway, yeah, for me, just the process is sometimes your guy might not be ready for a couple years, and we've seen it happen with other guys, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. He could be the starting quarterback for the Lions in 6-7 years, and have a 6-7 year career. You know what I mean? He could be, or like you said, I'm glad you put it out there. He could be a career backup. You know what I'm saying? What if
He could be
he's
our
on the
Chad
roster?
Henne
Right. You're right. Exactly. Or what
behind
if,
Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, and this would be another scenario. Let's just say you bring another you draft another quarterback, right? Down the road, a couple years or whatever, and he's better than Hendon Hooker, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's
Well,
just
if it's me, I'm drafting another quarterback next year at some point in time.
regardless, right?
5th round, 6th round. Nasty Nate won't be on my roster next year.
And that's
It,
gonna
it,
be
it won't be. If it's me, is Jared Goff, Hendon Hooker, and then whoever the third guy is that I draft this year, well, next
mhm,
year, whether it's a mobile athletic guy or it's another carbon copy of Goff, it only makes sense to draft a quarterback every year. That's why I don't get these fans around here. And I'm not mentioning no names, but we can go back to the local radio media. If it was good enough for Bill Belichick to win 6 rings, who are you to say it's stupid for us to do it? And this was his philosophy. This was also part of Bill Parcells' philosophy to draft a quarterback every other year. Did anybody once say, I wonder how Patriots fans felt about that when they had Brady? Why did he draft Jimmy G? And why did he draft this guy? Why did he draft that guy? Now,
yeah,
they drafted some dudes that turned out to not be able to play, but it seemed like as if they kind of wanted, I don't know if it was necessarily Bill Belichick or whoever it was, kind of wanted to push Brady out the door a little bit earlier.
hmm
Because even with like Ryan Mallett, I think they legitimately thought Ryan had a big time arm, but I think they legitimately thought Ryan Mallett could become a pro player. Now
yeah,
Ryan went down a bad trail. They ended up trading him to Houston. Houston gave him every opportunity to win that job after Schaub. Schaub, a dude that fell off the damn face of the earth
yeah.
after
Matt
he got
Schaub,
paid. Yeah,
yeah,
he got paid. So I don't know, man. The quarterback position, man. It's too shaky. It's too
hmm
dicey out here to just be arrogant to think you can just trade your backup. Like this fan base, after seeing the quarterbacks y'all went through, the Mike McMahons of the world, and the Jake Rudocks and the Joey Harringtons and the Charlie Batches and the Kramers, even though Kramer was decent for us, and
hmm
Pete's and Don Mikowski's and Dave Craig's, and y'all went through all of this.
yeah,
to really be arrogant enough to say, "Oh, trade him."
Yeah.
Like, really? Trade him?
Yeah, but
Nah.
this is what this is what good organizations do. This is what you're supposed to do. Like you said, you always have to replay this talent, no matter where it's at on your team, man. Just because, like you said, you have a quarterback that you have signed for the next 2 or 3 years. Again, that's not the end all be all. Like you said, no team only has one quarterback on their roster. You know what I mean? Some carry three. You know what I'm saying? I think we had two for the most of the year last year. So for me, Hendon Hooker's got to be a guy that the organization feels comfortable with. So let's just say they don't feel comfortable with him or Nasty Nate. When it comes down to it, maybe they looking to bring somebody else in. That would really be like knocking Hendon Hooker a peg down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if they don't even trust you, and you're they're giving you the opportunity, but then they don't trust you after preseason or going into week one to be the backup to Jared Goff. I mean, right now, that as Lions fans, whatever the case may be, whatever the side of the ledger you on with Hendon Hooker, the first thing is he got to succeed. So you should want him to succeed, period. Because if he doesn't, then you could say that probably was Brad Holmes' worst draft pick, or it was too early to take him, or it was a bad. Then you can go down that road. But right now, I don't think nobody knows. I think we just football crazed in this city now, and I think everybody got an opinion about Hendon Hooker. You know what I'm saying? And saying that whether you saying the Lions doing the right thing, or whether they're not, or he can play. I heard people say better than Jared Goff. He should be out there, which he may have more talent. I mean, that remains to be seen. You know what I'm saying? I know he can throw the rock. I know what I saw. You know what I'm saying? I know he's elusive when the play's breaking down. I know he can throw it on the dart. You know what I'm saying? I know he's got a good short game, you know what I'm saying, in the middle of the field. I know he's very instinctive, you know what I'm saying? But I want to see that translate over to the to the to the pros. You know what I'm saying? So now I think we finally get our chance, Walt, to see. And I think every opportunity they're going to give Hendon Hooker at least all reports that I've seen that they're giving him every opportunity, to do so. So I think he'll be fine, man. I just think right now, once people, start seeing him out there playing, I don't think it will be any question. I think he would shut up the people that say he's too old or he can't play, and then we could start saying that quarterback room, like you said, Walt, is in good hands. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward, we don't have a musical chairs at backup quarterback, so.
Yeah, like I said, it's a position on the field you got to take serious. You have to. Right now, the Chiefs might be the only team I can't remember who the backup quarterback is right now for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City, oh
Yeah.
man, it is top of my head. Well, ain't Chad Henne. It ain't oh boy. I was trying to that tells you I'm mad at
Well,
myself.
whoever
I
it
I
is,
should know that.
it
I
ain't too
should
important, I
yeah, I should
guess.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like I said, is once preseason starts and Hendon Hooker throws his first touchdown pass, it's just this, man. There's that part of this fan base here in Detroit who doesn't like Jared Goff and will never like Jared Goff unless they see Jared Goff actually win a Super Bowl. So that part of the fan base is going to hang on each and every Hendon Hooker completion. This preseason, watch what happens.
Yeah.
And then the people who don't care for Hendon Hooker, yeah, it's going to be, oh, look at that incompletion. Oh, look how he airmailed it to J-Mo. He's not even ready to play. This is why we should have traded him before we exposed him. Watch
Yeah.
what's going. If he go out there against the Giants and have a bad first game, watch what happens. See,
Yeah.
He should never have been playing in the first place. It's crazy, but I think it's ridiculous to not want a good backup quarterback. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not sensible. Um, it's not in the best benefit of your football team to root against any players. I don't root against anybody on this team. I may feel the way I feel about certain players, but I want to see
Mhm.
each and every one of these players succeed for us. That's just how it is. And like I said, the quality teams in the league, especially teams built like us. And I keep bringing the Colts up because the Colts are like were one of my favorite teams last year because I
Mhm.
like the way they did it. I like the way the Colts are built, and I like the way they did it. They were
Yeah.
able, even though Anthony Richardson was a rookie last year, and it's no telling if Anthony Richardson would have started all 17 games for them. There's no telling how his trajectory would have been up and down like this, or maybe he would have just kept on ascending because at the time he got hurt, he was ascending. But when you
Yeah.
have a good football team, you have a decent backup. Now Gardner Minshew ain't great. Do I think he's gonna lead anybody starting 17 games to the playoffs? Probably not.
Mhm.
But it's foolish to not want to have a capable backup. That's why Jacoby Brissett keep a job.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was looking at I pulled up the Chiefs. They Ian Book was in New Orleans last year, but Ian Book right now he's a backup. Carson Wentz the backup in KC. And then they got another guy, can't pronounce his name, Aluadon, Okadon,
Oh, oh
Okadon.
boy, the project. And I
Oka,
mean that with all respect. He went to I forget which HBCU he went to.
yeah.
But I
So
think he
they
was player of the year. Yeah, I know
he's
exactly
on
what
their
that is.
roster, but I don't know who was on the team. Ian Book was in New Orleans last year. I remember seeing Ian
Yeah,
Book for
former
Notre
Notre Dame
Dame.
quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Career backup.
their career backup. He balled, and now Ian Book was a guy I liked him at Notre Dame. He was baller, man. But like you said, and so it may be disrespectful, especially to a guy that's trying to be a starting quarterback. His
Yeah.
dream is to be a starting quarterback. So to maybe call him a backup, maybe it is disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the league playing, so maybe you're like, man, I ain't no damn backup. I'm a starter. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. You know what I mean? But like I said, the reality is, I think right now, Walt, let's just see what Hendon Hooker. Let's just see what he can do. You know what I'm saying? I want to see him out there taking snaps, real live, game time, making decisions, letting us throwing the rock around. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think we covered all the bases tonight. On Hendon Hooker, about him being not only a vital part of this team, because like you say, you got to have that part of your team got to be tight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be, you got to be an extension of the coach, too, because you have to be smart. Any you're a quarterback in the NFL, you're a smart guy. I mean, at least you should be, unless you just just working off talent. You know what I'm
Brett
saying? And
Favre.
yeah, or Jameis Winston, which
Beer
I
and
love.
bullets.
Yeah, yeah,
Beer
yeah.
and bullets, boy.
Yeah, because James Winston, I don't think he's the smartest guy in the world, but he got the leadership qualities, man. You know what I'm
I insult
saying?
that man brain power like
Yeah,
that.
I don't think he,
I
I
don't think
don't,
he. uh,
I don't think he's the smartest guy in the
I
world.
think
But
James. I think James is smart, man. James is just one of them all shucks bumpkins, man. James don't mean no harm, bro. And like I be watching James when you watch, and that's why I love Jameson Williams when you're starting Jameson Williams. When Jameis Winston is a starting quarterback, I love it. I love listening to him talk to the media after every after
yeah,
every game, man.
well,
Jameis don't be mean.
he the only guy in history. Didn't he have 30 intercept, 30
30 and 30.
touchdowns, 30? Man, that's an incredible stat. 30 TDs, 30 picks. So he can help you and hurt you all at the same time, man.
Derek
You know
Carr
one
and
guy,
Jameis Winston.
yeah, one guy, speaking of Florida State, that went to KC that I liked was the D tackle, that Fabian Lovett.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to KC. I meant to text you about. I was wondering because I didn't see what team he went, and that was another guy I had pegged, for the Lions, later on in the draft, and I liked him. You know what I'm saying? I just put that out there.
Yep.
Did Rich get richer? Because I like Fabian Lovett. You know,
You
I can't wait for the season to start, man. I mean,
that's all you can go back to is just to say
just
that.
keep the draft or just man, it's crazy
I'm gonna say this,
how
man.
amped up everybody gonna be for this season.
We we keep saying that we haven't seen it from Hooker. We need to see it from him. We're not gonna see it in the preseason
That's
because
true.
him playing against the second and third string players on another team, we expect him to complete passes. We expect him to have command of the offense. You've been in the offense for 2 summers now, for the most part. The only way we gonna know about him is when the water start boiling. Okay, you in a tight squeeze. Goff gets hurt second quarter. You got to go out there and close the game out in the second half. Or Goff gets hurt. He's out for 3-4 weeks. Can you come in here and steer the boat and get us to 3-1 over those 4 games, or at least get us to 2-2? And this, I view a good backup quarterback with a good football team. You're not gonna go 0-4 with a good backup. A good backup is on at least have y'all 500. So while Goff is out for 4 games, can you at least lead us to 2-2? That's where I'm at with. Now, a great
Hmm.
one might win all 4 games, depending on what the competition looks like or whatnot, and what the playbook is. But yeah, you want him to be a good player, but the thing is, we honestly not gonna find out about him until those live bullets start flying.
Yeah.
But that means Golf got hurt, and we don't want to see that unless he's in there. Well, even if he's in there mop up duty, we up 35-6. 3 minutes left in the game. You let him go in there and do some handoffs or whatever. Let him get some live action going on. But yeah, that's the only thing about having a young quarterback as the backup. That's why I think a lot of teams with championship aspirations like we have, they prefer to have an experienced backup. Now, I mean, look at Frisco. Now, this is the question I'm about to ask you, and I'm gonna ask everybody who watching and listening right now. Would you rather have Hendon Hooker as your backup or Sam Darnold?
Hendon Hooker.
And we don't even know a damn thing about Hendon Hooker, but we've seen so much of Sam Darnold over
Hmm.
the over the past 5 years. We say hell no to Sam Darnold, even though Sam Darnold is a vet. We still say hell no to Sam Darnold because we've seen enough of Sam Darnold.
Hmm. Right. Right. That's right. It's like you said, because some people say, "Well, I would rather have the veteran. I'd rather have a veteran quarterback over a guy who's unproven." Well, I'd rather have a guy with a high ceiling that I can nurture and teach him in game situations where they're having a guy who just been a reckless failure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Darnold's proven he's proven bad.
Yeah, you know, you can't even trust him to win a game for you. You know what I'm saying? When you need one. So yeah, I'm going with Hendon Hooker, man. That's the whole, and I'm glad you brought
Bobby
that
Drake
up.
said Hooker.
Yeah, Bobby Drake.
Exactly, because
He
we've
know
seen
what's up.
enough.
Yeah, because right now, you know, you would rather have the guy, like I said, that's coachable, that's young, hungry, you know, and then too, he's kind of unknown around the league. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, everybody got tape on everybody, but what I'm getting at is, like you said, everybody knows Sam Darnold's tendencies. They know he sucks. You know what I'm saying? So
his
he's
tendencies that
he,
suck.
he sucks. So you know what I mean.
Tendencies.
So for me, I'm glad you put it
Yeah.
out there like that because that's all the more reason why you should keep Hendon Hooker. You know what I mean? So yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, the backup in Philadelphia to Jalen Hurts is what? Kenny Pickett? They got Kenny Pickett,
Yeah,
and I
Kenny
know he's
Pickett
there.
and Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
And then, but I think that right there is another perfect example of how quickly things can change in one year. Jalen Hurts went from one possession away from winning the Super Bowl against against the Chiefs, throwing for a bunch of yards, running for a bunch of yards, was in the
Hmm.
MVP conversation all year. That seems like 3 years ago. Last season, he had an up and down season. Things got really rough towards the end of the season. Now you got people in Philly and the national media talking about him not even being the top 15 quarterback.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
how quickly things can change in the league. So,
yeah, yep. Facts.
yeah. All right, man, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We wanted to go 15 to 20 minutes with y'all. We never can do that. Never can do that because we go way, way deeper perspective
Deep.
wise into what we yeah, when we bring these topics to y'all. But as my co-host said, we will be bringing up Jamison Williams in the next
J-Mo.
couple days. We want to talk about JMO because this is a dude who had a long journey here. I'm proud of him. You and I both, since day one when he got drafted, been telling people to slow up, be easy on him. You got to look at how young he is. You got to look at the lack of experience he had in college, the lack of nuance in his route tree at Alabama, as well as Ohio State. Be patient. And now we're looking at year 3, possibly where J-Mo can be breakout player of the year in the
Mm-hmm.
NFL for that matter. Could turn out to be that diamond, that X factor that we drafted him out of Alabama to be. So, like I said, in a couple days, we're gonna get into Jamison Williams, what our expectations are for him. You can always guys also chime in, let us know what you think about JMO, his journey to the spot he's at right now, how he's looked in OTAs, and more importantly, what are y'all expectations for JMO next year? Till
Mm-hmm.
next time, Lions Avenue.